What happened to Todd Rundgren? Rundgren, who is a native of Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, learned to play guitar as a child after his lessons ended. He formed his first band Money at 16 and later joined the blues group Woody's Truck Stop in Philadelphia. When the band shifted towards hippie psychedelia, he and Carson Van Austen left to form the Nazz in 1967. Inspired by British invasion bands like the Beatles, the Nazz became known for their reverent sound. They were joined by drummer Tom Mooney and lead vocalist and keyboardist Stookie. By September 1967, with financial backing from a local record store, they signed with SGC Records, an offshoot of Atlantic Records, and Columbia Screen Gems with the help of manager John Kurland. Their debut album, Nazz, appeared in October, supported by the single Hello, It's Me. Although the song would later become a major hit for Rundgren as a solo artist, the dirgy original version barely scraped the Billboard Hot 100. Despite the lack of success, the record, particularly the Nazz's self-production of Open My Eyes and Hello, It's Me, attracted some good notices. Taking these as a cue, the group began to work on an ambitious self-produced double album, Fungo Bat. By the time it was released in 1969, it was trimmed down to a single album, Nazz Nazz. In the process of editing, much of Rundgren's newer Laura Nyro-inspired material, which he had sung himself, was left on the shelves. Neither the management nor his bandmates gave Rundgren much encouragement to sing, nor was his new introspective direction warmly received by his colleagues. Faced with a no-win situation, Rundgren left the group not long after their summer 1969 tour. Stookie took control of the Nazz, erased Rundgren's vocals from the album sitting in the vaults, and replaced them with his own. The result was released as Nazz 3 in 1970, but it flopped. And after that album, the group disbanded, and a fun fact is that Carson Van Austen would become a legendary comic strip artist, and he would even be inducted as a Disney legend in 2015. Rundgren, meanwhile, became an in-house producer and engineer for former Bob Dylan manager Albert Grossman's fledgling studio and label Bearsville Records. Around the same time, Rundgren formed a band called Runt, but in reality, Runt was little more than a front for his burgeoning solo career. He played all of the instruments except drums and bass, which were usually handled by brothers Hunt and Tony Sales. Runt is either Runt's first album or Rundgren's first solo album, depending on your point of view, was released on Ampix Records in the fall of 1970. The record slowly earned an audience, with the single We Gotta Get You a Woman climbing into the top 20 of the Billboard Hot 100 in early 1971. His modest success was enough to convince Grossman to sign Rundgren to a long-term contract with Bearsville. Apart from a re-release of Runt, the first Rundgren album to appear on Bearsville was Runt's final record, The Ballad of Todd Rundgren, a set that was reminiscent of such melodic singer-songwriter peers as Carole King and Laura Nyro, yet it had a subtly bizarre sensibility and quirky sense of humor that gave it a distinctive character. As he pursued a solo career, Rundgren quickly earned a reputation as a talented producer and engineer. His first production was for The American Dream, but he quickly graduated to the big leagues thanks to his association with Grossman. In 1970, he engineered the band Stage Fright and Jesse Winchester's acclaimed self-titled debut album. These two productions set the stage for Rundgren to take the production seat that George Harrison left vacant, and the result was Badfinger Straight Up, which gave him a huge hit with Baby Blue. It wasn't long until Rundgren had a huge hit of his own. He abandoned the Runt concept before beginning his third album, deciding to record the entire record himself. The result was Something Anything, a double album that solidified Rundgren's reputation as a near-genius producer and gifted songwriter. Apart from the fourth side, which was constructed as a tongue-in-cheek operetta about a bar band, he played every instrument, sang every part, and produced the entire album. Held in the rock press as some sort of masterpiece upon its early 1972 release, it also won Rundgren a wide audience. The Carole King tribute, I Saw the Light, reached number 16, and while its follow-up, the terrific power pop classic, Couldn't I Just Tell You, stiffed, the third single, a superior re-recording of the Nazz's semi-hit Hello It's Me, climbed all the way to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. Overall, Something Anything reached number 29 on the Billboard 200 and went gold, spending nearly a full year on the charts. He found stardom with Something Anything, but Rundgren rejected it. He would later state that he had mastered pop songcraft and had no interest in simply repeating himself through endless recyclings of I Saw the Light or Hello It's Me. That's certainly not what he delivered with A Wizard, a True Star, which was his 1973 follow-up to Something Anything. It was a weird sonic collage encompassing everything from psychedelia and Philly soul to Disney show tunes and vaudeville. The record may not have been an intentional move to shut his mainstream audience, but that was the ultimate effect. As Rundgren's hit Hello It's Me garnered widespread acclaim, he developed a dedicated cult following that embraced his persona as a wizard, a true star. He fully embraced this image, experimenting with colorful hairstyles and extravagant concert performances. While his appearance leaned towards glam rock, his music shifted toward a more progressive style, exemplified by his 1974 album Todd, which featured both pop songs like A Dream Goes On Forever and lengthy experimental instrumentals. This evolution led to the formation of Utopia, initially comprised of 3 keyboardists, a bassist, and a drummer. Balancing his solo work with Utopia, Rundgren became a prolific artist in the 70s. His 1975 album Todd Rundgren's Utopia consisted of 4 lengthy instrumental tracks, while his solo album Initiation featured the hit Real Man alongside a half-hour synth experiment. He followed this with another live, showcasing live synth-driven performances. In 1976, Rundgren released Faithful, which included original songs and reimagined 60s classics, resulting in his first top 40 hit in 3 years with his cover of Good Vibrations. He revamped Utopia, reducing the lineup and bringing in bassist Kasim Sultan. Their next album, Raw, retained a progressive rock essence but was less experimental, leading to Oops, Wrong Planet, which shifted to a more streamlined pop rock sound. Rundgren's 1978 album, The Hermit of Mink Hollow, marked a return to accessible pop music, featuring the top 30 hit, Can We Still Be Friends? The album enjoyed commercial success, spending 26 weeks on the Billboard 200. He subsequently released Back to the Bars, a double live album that included both Utopia and solo tracks. As his solo career received a shot in the arm, his production career reached a pinnacle of commercial success with Meatloaf's Bad Out of Hell. The shamelessly bombastic record became an unexpected blockbuster due in no small part to Rundgren's cinematic production. Not only did it reap financial rewards, but it also opened the doors for a variety of production gigs over the next year, and he kept extraordinarily busy with these gigs, working with everyone from old friend Patti Smith on her album Wave, to new wave pub rocker Tom Robinson with his album TRB2, as well as arena rock goofs The Tubes with their album Remote Control. Given that Rundgren had been releasing records at such a rapid rate throughout the 70s, it comes as a shock to note that neither he nor Utopia released an album in 1979. And that's not to say he wasn't busy. Not only did he have his production work, but in 1979, Rundgren opened up Utopia Video Studios, a cutting-edge video production enterprise. Utopia Video Studios' first project was a version of Gustav Holst's The Planets, a demonstration disc for video discs by RCA Selectivision, and it was a harbinger. Throughout the next decade, Rundgren began to devote more time to technological developments than his music. Nevertheless, the early 80s were a robust time for him, his last great period of commercial success. He came back swinging in 1980, releasing 2 albums with Utopia, the shiny pop rock opus Adventures in Utopia, and the cutting Beatles parody Deface the Music. He also released Time Heals, the first music video to combine computer graphics and live action, and it would later be the second video played on MTV. The following year, he released his first solo album in 3 years, The Spiritually Inclined Healing. By this point, his relationship with Bearsville Records had become increasingly rocky. Utopia delivered one last album for the label, 1982 Swing to the Right, before departing for the fledgling network label, releasing Utopia that same year. After completing a groundbreaking solo tour in 1982, which alternated acoustic sets with sets featuring tape backings and video backdrops, he released the ever-popular Tortured Artist Effect. Despite the presence of a moderate novelty hit with Bang the Drum All Day, the album didn't eclipse Healing on the charts. After encountering difficulties leaving Bearsville due to the folding of Network Records, Rundgren's band Utopia signed with Passport Records. In 1984, they released Oblivion, which peaked at number 74, but their follow-up album POV in 1985 failed to chart well, leading Rundgren to disband Utopia. His next solo project, Acapella, released in September 1985, was a multi-tracked vocal album that received mixed reviews viewed more as a novelty. Rundgren then shifted focus to production, notably working with the band XTC on their album Skylarking, which revitalized both his career and theirs despite tensions during recording. He continued producing for various artists and released his own album Nearly Human in 1989, which contained the radio single The Want of a Nail. His 1991 live album Second Wind was his last with a major label. In the mid-90s, Rundgren embraced technology, launching the Patronet platform for direct music distribution and creating innovative projects like No World Order. He also worked as a DJ and contributed to film soundtracks. In 1997, he recorded With a Twist, a bossa nova reinterpretation of his past hits. Rundgren's focus shifted to the internet by the late 90s, and he continued to tour while producing for other artists. The early 2000s saw a surge of archival releases, and he toured to celebrate the Beatles. In 2004, he released Liars, his first rock album in over a decade, followed by Arena in 2008. He continued to tour and release several projects, including State in 2013 and Global in 2015. Rundgren collaborated with various artists and released White Knight in 2017. His memoir, The Individualist, was published in 2018, and he toured in tribute to the Beatles' White Album. In 2020, he released a new collaboration with Rivers Cuomo, leading up to his 2022 album Space Force, which featured contributions from multiple artists. And that's what happened to Todd Rundgren. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Give me some facts about Todd that I failed to mention in this video, and let me know who I should do next. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.